So good afternoon. So next thing, what we are going to see it of Abhina, we are going to see what are all the functions which is performed by programming. So we'll have a robot motion control, and then we'll have a trajectory planning. We'll have obstacle avoidance. We'll have a velocity and accelerations control. We'll have a force and torque control, end effector control, and we'll have a motion coordination with the other components. So these are all the functions which is performed by programming. So next thing, we'll have a robot motion control. So robot motion control வந்து பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா when it is actually it is required. We are not interested only in the target points. Okay, so we are in need to. So when it is travel from one point to the another, we are need to follow the path which is preferred by the arm. So this can be controlled by any one of the four types. So that we can go for sequential joint, sliving or uncoordinate joint, joint interpolated, and straight line control. Okay. So we'll have a robot motion which can be controlled by any one of the four things. We'll have a sequential joint control. We'll have a sliving or uncoordinated joint control. We'll have a joint interpolated control, and we'll have a straight line control. So sequential joint control abdina, the joints are moved separately in a prescribed sequence. There is no interaction between the movements. Whereas the case of enslaving all joints வந்து பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா at the same time it will be faster, but the path of the end effector வந்து பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா it is not controlled and depends on the relative velocity of the individual joint. So அந்த motion பேர் தான் என்ன அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம்னா sleeve motion. The next thing, joint interpolated control. So ensures that all of the joints வந்து has to be start and finish together. So path வந்து is confined within a small volume, but the motion வந்து is erratic and not suitable for some tasks. So in the motions also known as joint interpolated motion. Straight line control will be slower because of the need to move the arm at the speed limited by the slowest joint. But it is required for tasks such as sliding along a thing. So when we are going for a robot motion control, we'll have a programming languages which often provide separate commands for interpolated joint control and straight line control. So that the faster move which can be used when straight line control is not necessary. The sleeve move and the sequential moves are seldom used over. So when you are going for a trajectory planning, so which deals with the planning of the motion, where it is moving from one position to the another position. So in case of pick and place on the path and point to point path, the path is not so important, but the trajectory planning will be very simple one. But in continuous path, it is typical task to generate the controlled path. So typically, trajectory information from the input to a program is in the form of starting coordinates, so intermediate points and then ending coordinates. So intermediate points will be called as an via. So this are those through which the trajectory which must pass to meet the requirements of the task. So trajectory planning will be classified into two different types of moves. One is continuous path type, another one to be the via type. So trajectory, so we'll have this is the continuous path type. So we'll have a continuously which will be transferring from task to the end task. So we'll be following up the path. So via type அப்படிங்கிறது இது வழியா. So this is going to be the we'll be having of a via type. So continuous path type which commands the causal robot to move through a sequence of locations. We'll have a note on it. So during continuous path motion, the user may select if the motions will be optimized for joint motion or constant velocity. So in joint optimized continuous path, the speed of the robot is determined automatically by optimizing joint speed through the path. Again, in times of constant speed mode, the speed of the robot will remain constant throughout the path overall. So via path type in command will move the arm close to the node, not actually to a series of locations. It will allow the arm to deviate slightly depending on speed and acceleration rates during the motion. Whereas in the case of fire command, the user may select if the motions will be optimized for joint motion or world motion. So in joint optimized via command, the arm moves in the PDF form along the path without stopping at each intermediate point. So in the world optimized via all motions are in straight line form between each location over on it. So example of trajectory planning by simulation I shown over here. So major problem in the control of robot it is an obstacle avoidance. So in order to incorporate obstacle avoidance in its programming, we must either have a model of its environment or some type of sensor information which gives information about its environment. So whereas in the case of a moving objects will require more complex modeling rather than stationary objects. Both the robot's movement and that of surrounding objects which must be predicted over on it. So three cases of algorithms that have been developed to plan for obstacle avoidance. So we have three things. One to be the hypothesis and test, and we'll have a penalty function and the explicit free space. Hypothesis and testல we'll have a four steps. So first என்ன பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா We have to find out the possible path between the initial and final position and configuration of the robot top. Second, it has to be test a selected set of configurations along the path for possible collision. So third thing, if a collision possibility is found, devise a way to avoid it by examining the shape and position of the. So fourth step is to be that if no collision-free path is found, it is necessary to hypothesize a new path until a clear path is found or no additional paths are possible. So this method is suitable for one or two obstacles which can be encountered in this workspace. If the workspace has many obstacles, definitely it will become complex. Penalty functions on the it is suitable for applications which require only a small modification to a known path. So no further progress can be made over on it. So this is the drawing of penalty functions for a simple circular robot for a two-link manufacturer. So அதே மாதிரி a penalty is assigned for approaching an object. So penalty will become infinite. The object is encountered and drops off rapidly with its distance to the object. The total penalty function for the path is found by adding the penalties from the individual objective. In some algorithms, there is a penalty for deviating from the shortest path. Entire problem will be optimize the penalty function which compromises between the short distance to be moved from the start position to the end position and the lowest total penalty value. So this method is highly suitable for any number of obstacles in the workspace. So the last method is to be the explicit workspace. Instead of listing obstacles in workspace, we'll have available free space. Only way to do this to break up the volume into cubes or parallel sizes of varying sizes and to store the coordinates of the corner. The free space is the space that the robot can go without collisions with the obstacle. So the path is then searched from start point to the end point, which is a sequence of position of the free space. So in this way, what we'll be doing of Odina, it is possible to approximate the available free space to any desired degree. So this method can be used to generate guarantee that the path will be found if one exists. The disadvantage of the path it is more cost of computation. We'll have a graphic and grid method which can be used in this free space. Vision, acoustic, and tactile sensors may also be used to detect obstacles so that the workspace model is not applicable. So when you're going for an velocity and acceleration control, often it is desirable for the robot arm to move at a specified velocity or to accelerate and de-accelerate at control rate. So these capabilities can be provided in the program in several ways. So overall specifications that apply to all joints or limit set of both joints are a specified starting and ending acceleration and maximum velocity. So velocity and acceleration control in the robot language will have a position in each type of moving command to specify speed, acceleration, deceleration, and settling time so that the velocity profile of each point for the overall velocity at the end effector may be specified over on it. Acceleration control, which is maybe necessary to reduce the force on the arms and on the objects being carried over. Next, force and torque control when an unexpected obstacle is an encountered path when a path is being triggered. So it is desirable that amount of force exerted by the robot arm has to be controlled. So torque control is required for tightening bolts, joints, and cylinder tasks. So this programming language should be able to specify force and torque in three or regular directions to provide necessary capability. So that control is affected by varying the voltage or current for the drivers based on the sensor information. So finally, we'll have an end effector control. That is the measurement of the opening in the gripper of the end effector so that it can be opened to pick up an object. So if the vacuum in the path of Lima is designed to control the effective vacuum in order to pick up objects. And other end effectors will have a similar control requirement. So when you're going for a motion coordination with other components in the path, multiple robot arms, conveyors, cylinders, and so on must operate together to carry out the task or the related task. Each robot may have a separate computer with an overall computers to coordinate the operation. Signals are required to allow the multiple devices to report status and coordinate functions. So finally, we'll have a word programming language so that we can see. Thank you.